Disney World hotels now getting a major security overhaul. The most magical place on earth announcing that employees will conduct daily inspections of every room at their resorts. So the question is this an invasion of privacy or a good move to protect against security threats? Here now to weigh in is national security analyst for the Clarion Project, Ryan Mauro. Thanks for joining us this morning, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Now, let's go over what's changing as far as Disney resorts go. The do not disturb signs that you typically see, that's going to be changed to room occupied. As we mentioned, employees must enter rooms every day, and there will be changes to launch this at all resorts in the upcoming weeks. Do you think this is a good idea?
I do, because it's not like there's going to be random inspections where they just come in and start going through all of your stuff. The idea is that they don't want there to be a 24-hour period where someone can just be using their room, which is part of a private business that can make these types of decisions, using that room to engage in criminal activity or even terrorist or violent activity. We saw this with Stephen Paddock, where he took several days to assemble an arsenal and prepare the attack using his hotel room. And going even further back than that, we know that 9/11, the hijackers did this, and it's just kind of widely known in the law enforcement community that this is a typical practice of criminals and terrorists, and you've got to respond to it.
I was actually out in Las Vegas following that shooting, covering it for about a week, and a lot of the hotels had changed their policy in Las Vegas after that happened. After 58 people were killed, hundreds of others injured. That happened back in October. I wondered, and a lot of us talked about, how long are some of these changes going to last? And now you see that this could be what we're used to now going forward.
I think it is inevitable, and that's because if you want to see the future of the United States, you need to look at Europe, and then if you want to see the future of Europe, you look at Israel and the Middle East. And when I've traveled to several Middle Eastern countries, I've seen these security procedures in place, and that includes oftentimes metal detectors at the front of those hotels, the ones that are bigger. And I've got to tell you, it actually wasn't that bad. I don't want us to get into a constant strategy of defensive measures that just makes life more and more of a hassle, but this makes sense, and I even forgot I was going into the hotel through metal detectors as I was traveling. So there's a good way to do this.
You know, Disney has not said that they did this as a response to what happened in Las Vegas. I think a lot of people are assuming that could be the case. But I guess the question is, at what point is it going to be too much? At what point could people take this as an invasion of privacy? Because look, you could be sleeping and someone's knocking, announcing themselves, and then they come in and then you wake up. Are they going through your things? Are they using a metal detector to see if there are any explosives? Like, at what point do you think a line could be crossed?
If we get to the point where they aren't calling the room and they're just kind of going in there at any time and looking through your bags, then I would say that's an overreaction. But I don't think we're going to get there, because businesses have an incentive to keep the customer happy, but also to keep the customer safe. All you need is even a thwarted plot that was being assembled from within a hotel room for a business to lose a lot of money. And you also only need a story of a privacy violation to lose a lot of money. So it's in the business's interest to find that fine line, and I think that this falls into the realm, as is being described, the realm of responsible. But it's true, ultimately the way we need to fight this threat is going to be overseas, and as well as the intelligence operations domestically. We can't just constantly respond to everything by saying, well, what defensive measure can we put in place, until eventually we're all just living in our homes and not going outside.
Yeah. Ryan Mauro, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think at this point, Todd, a lot of people say better to be safe than sorry.
I think about all my family trips to Disney growing up. Never thought about this. My gosh.